Cuphead's new DLC, The Delicious Last Course, has finally arrived. This time around with the plot revolving around Miss Chalice, who's trying to come back to life. With the help of Cuphead and Mugman, you battle 6 new and unique bosses, gathering the ingredients required to create a Wonder Tart for Miss Chalice. As before, the plot is basic, but it's all about style and difficulty for Cuphead, and this DLC is no exception. Providing the impressive and colorful visuals of the hand-drawn style from the 1930s and 40s, as well as the jazzy and frantic soundtrack filled with live instruments that's always fun to listen to. With there being a ton of talent and passion flooding this DLC, the gameplay holds up just as well, introducing concepts old and new and mixing them together for a unique set of challenges. Platforms that rise and fall, flashy stage transitions, and precise timing to dodge around it all. This time around with the DLC, you can now also play as Miss Chalice. In order to do so, you will have to equip the Cookie Charm, which means no other charms can be equipped while playing as her. To make up for this, Chalice's moveset is different than Cuphead's. She has a double jump for some added airtime, and her parry attack is tied to her dodge. Lastly, she also has a rolling dodge that allows her to be invincible during the roll. Although she has more mobility options, as well as starts with 4 health instead of the usual 3, the game offers challenges that may be better off with Cuphead or Mugman. Make no mistake, Miss Chalice's style fits right at home with the gameplay of Cuphead, but it can take some getting used to and timing your parries differently. When it comes to the bosses, just like before, each and every boss has their own unique set of attacks that fits their theme. This time around, I never really had that feeling of a boss fight being too long, like say with the Dragon Grim Matchstick fight, or Beppy the Clown from the original game. Studio MDHR did a great job with making each boss stand out on their own in this DLC, and include brand new transitions and obstacles we haven't seen before, with the standout level for me being Dog on Dog Fight. With a platform that you can move and some crazy camera angles, this will really challenge your ability to think on the fly. The other bosses are no slouch and will give you a hard time on their own. Remembering how difficult the original game was, it's still as addicting as ever. With the quick loading times to bring you right back into the action as if nothing ever happened, really plays to the strength of this game, allowing the players to adapt to this fast-paced and crazy world and revisit it just as quickly, as well as the colorful backgrounds and foregrounds that constantly make the entire screen feel animated. With new bosses also comes a few new weapons and charms, with my personal favorite being the Crackshot projectile. This weapon deals above average damage on a direct hit, but even if the projectile misses, it breaks into a weaker homing projectile. The rate of fire is slower than that of other attacks, but you will constantly be dealing damage, and makes for a great weapon for crowd control against any weaker enemies that may appear. The second new shot type is Converge, which is a full screen piercing attack of 3 bolts of electricity. If you aim while using this, it narrows the spread of the 3 bolts for a more direct attack. Lastly is Twist Up, which is a rapid fire average damage dealing weapon, but it only shoots in an upward arch. This feels more situational than any of the other shots and probably would work better as a secondary shot instead of a primary attack. Outside of these bosses, there is also a Gauntlet of Challenges awaiting you at the King of Games, where you will have to defeat a few mini-bosses without any charms or attacks. Instead, it's all a matter of timing and using your parry to damage each enemy, similar to the Mausoleum levels that you had in the previous game. Lastly, there is also a mystery on the island that you can solve, and I will leave the details out of this video for you to find on your own. Overall, Cuphead's DLC is more of the same with some new gameplay features that make it all worthwhile. The DLC itself took me about 3 hours to complete, with a dozen or more deaths on each boss. If you're a big fan of Cuphead and its challenges, this is a must-buy. With the DLC itself being available for $7.99 US, I have to recommend it. Grading the DLC itself, I would give it a 9 out of 10. My only gripe, which I will continue to hold on to, is that there are no new run-and-gun levels, which are the typical 2D platforming levels. And as much as I do love Cuphead for just about everything it offers, I do wish it had some regular platforming levels to play through. I did my best to never have the game's difficulty lower its score, and it's no exception here. More so since there is a simple difficulty for every boss. Boss grinding isn't always fun for me, and I was mentally exhausted by the time I beat the DLC in one sitting. Having some traditional levels could be a good change of pace for those like myself, who want to play Cuphead without going on a brain overload or lowering the difficulty, but that is my personal preference. Let me know what you guys think about Cuphead and its DLC, and what you enjoyed from it the most. I am Mr. Rain, and I will see you in the next one.